And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of American Legion Radio in Indianapolis at the convention and the Press Association luncheon. And one of the honorees this year was an Army veteran, Sarah Lee, who served overseas and did an extraordinary fundraiser and awareness building campaign bicycling across the country. Sarah, great to see you. What's Indianapolis convention been like for you to attend?
It's just felt like one big happy family pretty much the whole time. Very warm, welcoming, lots of camaraderie and connection, things like that. So it's been a wonderful experience so far.
Well, your story is profiled in the American Legion magazine in September, a great read. First off, tell us a little bit about how you joined the Army, and then what was your experience going overseas to serve?
Well, I joined at age 17. I joined the Army National Guard. I served with 3 different combat engineer units during my 8 years. I did one 12-month deployment to Iraq in 2004 with the 216th Engineers under the 1st Infantry Division. And since then, I have served in a couple other units before ETSing in 2009. So I was in for 8 years total.
Well, thank you for your service. Now, you did something extraordinary to bicycle across the country to build awareness and raise funds for your fellow service members. Tell us about how that idea originated.
Well, after getting out of the military, you try to fill the void that's left. I missed it a lot. I got out due to some chronic pain issues and injury, and so I felt very unfulfilled, and those feelings compounded over the next decade. And so I kind of hit a rock bottom, was feeling really down. I'd already lost a couple friends to suicide, and I feel like I was encountering some of the same emotions that they were probably going through, and it got a little scary, and I needed to do something to reignite my lust for life. And so in 2016, I went and purchased a bicycle. I hadn't ridden a bike since 9th grade, so it was kind of funny the first time I got on it. But it comes right back. That's why the phrase like riding a bike exists. I trained for a couple weeks and then set out in Yorktown, Virginia on the East Coast and headed west against the wind to San Francisco, California. So it totaled 4,010 miles. And I got to honor the friends that we lost during my Iraq deployment. I got to honor the friends I've continued to lose to suicide, as well as voice some of our issues and hopefully inspire other veterans to, fight through another day rather than taking their life. It fixed so many things for me inside, and now I'm kind of wanting to pay that forward. Since I've founded a nonprofit called Waypoint Vets in the Nashville area, taking veterans out on adventures in nature, doing activities together, bonding, things like that, wanting to unite and empower veterans. So basically spreading a message of strength and unity among the veteran community.
Well, it's such an extraordinary thing to do. One of our friends at West Point, Mike Vitti, a former Army football player, soldier, officer overseas, did a run across the country, running to the Army-Navy game after almost several months and building awareness and raising funds. Extraordinary what he did. He's a kindred soul of yours. What was your reaction from people that you met when you were bicycling and you stopped to tell a story? You met some media. What was some of the reaction to your ride and your message?
Well, it varied based on how far along I was. Some of the country, on the eastern side, when I told them how far I had to go, they were pretty shocked, and they were like, I don't know, and I got about halfway, and people were really starting to root it on. They're like, she's really doing this. And then, 3/4, it became, wow, you've come this way. So that varied. But what didn't vary, what was synonymous, was the kindness and generosity that I encountered, east to west coast. There was no section of this country that was any less warm and generous and kind than the other. And so that totally inspired me to not only honor the fallen, but to honor and thank the support and the love that I encountered by living and giving, by continuing to fight. We fight so hard to get home, but like I've said, the war inside is different than the wars we're trained to win. It can get really tricky really quickly. So we have to be there for each other. We have to unite as a veteran community, come together and relate rather than compare, things like that.
Absolutely. Were there any places along the route that really stood out as a nice stop where you got great reaction?
I would say so. Reaction, I'm not sure. A couple of the key spots were definitely the Grand Canyon, where I got to throw a commemorative rock for one of my friends that had taken his life the year prior. And I mean, I would say finishing at the Pacific Coast, crossing that Golden Gate Bridge, I wanted to finish there. It kind of symbolized a new beginning, crossing bridges, and then being escorted by the Legion riders, being met by the American Legion posts in that area, and just seeing the support, having them escort me down to the coast to dip my tires and clapping. And what really blew me away was after I dipped my tires, the Legion riders and the Legion members surrounded my bicycle and lifted it up and started carrying it back across the beach for me. They said, "Mission accomplished, we'll take it from here." And it really just set in stone. I have a bigger family than I ever imagined. All of us do. All of us veterans have a bigger family than we ever dreamed out there. And they're just waiting for us to just show up, to strike up a conversation, to start, relating. And the love and warmth that I felt among the American Legion members will definitely keep me going. I mean, it's amazing.
And Sarah, could you just mention again your website and how someone who's interested in supporting you can find your website and contribute?
Yes, that'd be awesome. My 501c3 I founded this year. It's called Waypoint Vets. The website is waypointvets.org. WAYPOINTVETS.org. Basically, I'll be uniting and empowering my fellow veterans through nature-based adventures, activities, and things like that. So,
Sarah, a great story, great job. We're going to tell our friend Mike Vitti at West Point about you. He'll be very proud of what you did, bicycling across the country, and we'll look forward to reading the article in the September issue of the American Legion magazine. And really, on behalf of everybody, the Legion, the Sons, thank you for your service to our country.
it's an honor. Thank you so much for your service to veterans.
Well, our pleasure. We get to meet extraordinary people like you, which makes the job so fulfilling. So, Sarah, great to see you. And in Indianapolis for Sons of the American Legion Radio, this is Ken Kraetzer.